Hey up, it's Steve from that old Yorkshire Geek, and Merry Christmas! Got another Christmas list for us to look at today. This time it's the best sci-fi Christmas movies you can watch. This is from a list from Giant Freaking Robot. It's from a couple of years ago, but it's still relevant today, isn't it? So, let's have a look. There we go. Right, the best sci-fi Christmas movies, watch them now. They have links, but I don't know if the links work. I've not clicked on them. Right, so, which Christmas movie will you choose this holiday season? You could go with a holiday classic like It's a Wonderful Life, or a new classic like Elf, or a suddenly trendy, not really Christmas movie like Die Hard. It is a Christmas movie. You could do that, but we think you'd be better off thinking outside the box. Why not watch a sci-fi Christmas movie this year? Since their inception, movies have loved to use holidays as a backdrop to the stories they tell. It makes sense. Celebrated by large swathes of the population, their inclusion lends an air of commonality to the proceedings, a sense that the people on screen are not so different from you, the viewer, or maybe just like making Christmas or holiday movies. Each holiday comes with its own set of easily recognisable tropes, and many bring with them their own set of their own set of complications and problems to add layers to a narrative. How many times have we watched a family gathering set on Thanksgiving, where people not usually in the same room with one another come to blows, real or metaphorical, when forced into close proximity? Instead, why not unite around a shared love of science fiction with a sci-fi Christmas movie? Christmas, being the biggest kid on the holiday block, has easily amassed the greatest number of holiday-themed movies. Science fiction is not immune from taking part in the Christmas movie festivities. In honour of December 25th rolling around once again, we've put together a collection of the best sci-fi Christmas movies, and you can guess what's first, can't you? Send a baby by basket with Batman Returns. What's a baby by basket got to do with Christmas? That's bloody Moses, isn't it? Anyway, there it is. That's the Michael Keaton Batman in Batman Returns, which is a Christmas movie, and I'll be watching it this year. While Batman Returns may not actually be about Christmas, it's set during Christmas, and because it's directed by Tim Burton, who has another movie on this list, it does a great job of capturing the feel of a snowy Christmas city under siege by an evil penguin-shaped villain. It also contains a bunch of really strange hidden references to biblical stories, in particular Christ and Moses. Penguin is literally sent down a river in a basket to his adopted family. I'm surprised Charlton Heston didn't make a cameo. Yes, send a baby by basket. Yes, they throw him. Penguin's parents, when he's a baby, throw him into the river, don't they? And he gets adopted by the penguins that live in the sewers. Batman Returns is also just a really good movie. Maybe one of the most underrated superhero movies of all time. The original Tim Burton Batman movie gets all the credit, but the sequel might in its own way be even better. It's a great way to start your sci-fi Christmas movie viewing. Yes, I love Batman Returns. It's my favourite Batman film. I think it's brilliant. I think it's miles better than the first one, and Batman kills people in it. He does, just watch it and you'll see. Right, Spend Christmas in Brazil. Terry Gilliam's Brazil. A film I've never watched. I know, got all these sci-fi, and cult classics that I've never seen. Anyway, part sharp political satire, part slapstick dystopian nightmare, Brazil is Terry Gilliam at the peak of his considerable filmmaking powers, and it's a sci-fi Christmas movie to the core. The battle to get the movie to the big screen is almost as epic as the film itself, with Gilliam in the role of the hero, slaying the metaphorical monsters of studio executives. Set against the backdrop of Christmas in an uber-materialistic, overly bureaucratic society, Brazil is the story of Sam Lowry, Jonathan Pryce, a low-level office worker with an overactive fantasy life who smashes through all social mores and regulations to maybe save an imagined damsel in distress. Near equal parts hilarious absurdity and grim prognosticating, Gilliam's Brazil sheds institutional and societal conventions with a razor wit, fabricating a world that is both entirely foreign and all too familiar. An early scene in Lowry's office is eerily similar to the day jobs most of us slog through. They didn't even mention Christmas, did they? Apart from there's a picture of somebody in a Santa outfit. I presume there's more to it than that, but I don't know because I've not seen it. Glad to get round to it. Feel the Sharp Power of Christmas with Edward Scissorhands, a film I've seen just once, and you know what? It didn't do anything for me. But my mum loved it. Is Edward Scissorhands science fiction, fantasy, or is it just weird? It's weird. It's probably all three. Tim Burton, the man responsible for an undisputed holiday classic in The Nightmare Before Christmas, another film I don't like, was behind this straight. Maybe I just don't like Tim Burton. But I do like Batman Returns, which is Tim Burton. And I like Sleepy Hollow, which is also Tim Burton. And I like Ed Wood, which is also Tim Burton. Was behind this strange Johnny Depp Christmas movie. For all this strangeness, Burton really gets Christmas and goes back to it a lot, resulting in this being the second of two Burton movies to make this sci-fi Christmas movies list. This one, unlike Batman Returns, is more overtly about the holiday season and what it's like to have really sharp hands. Edward Scissorhands is all about the power of Christmas, and by the time it's over, you'll feel it. I'll tell you where. Get drunk on eggnog with Idris Elba in Prometheus. There he is, as captain of the Prometheus with his Christmas tree. By the way, I've never had the eggnog in my life, and I've actually managed to get hold of some this year, and it's in the fridge. Will I like it? I don't know. Should I put some rum in it or something? I don't know. I'll probably do that. But I'm saving it for Christmas. If you're like us, and I suspect many of you are, the first thing that comes to mind when you think of the alien universe is, of course, Christmas. Those slobbery, acid-blooded xenomorphs scream holiday spirit like nothing else in sci-fi. Bit of sarcasm there. Ridley Scott's 2012 adventure Prometheus takes this to heart, and the action goes down around Christmas. While not the game-changing event many fans hoped it would be, I'm of the camp that thinks Prometheus got a big of a bum rap. Are there problems? Big problems, to be sure. And it is full of the worst cinematic decision-making this side of the Hangover movies, but you'll enjoy it. It's worth watching to see the scene with drunk Idris Elba and the Christmas tree alone. You might not want to watch it on the actual holiday, however, especially with family. That alien fetus abortion scene could lead to some awkward dinner table conversations. Breast or leg? Family gatherings are already tense enough without opening up that can of worms with a Christmas movie. I quite like Prometheus. My mate, Simon, if you're watching, he hates it. He hates it. But I quite like it. But I admit, it's not a good, film in the alien universe. Try and pretend it's not. Ignore the ship at the end, the horseshoe ship, and ignore the obviously alien references. And it's quite a good sci-fi movie. But yes, there's some stupid decision-making, and the characters are generally idiotic. But it's well made and it looks nice. Right, be traditional with Scrooged. Is this sci-fi? I don't know. It's more supernatural, isn't it, than sci-fi? But anyway. Most people categorise Scrooged as just a straight-up Christmas movie, given that it's a riff on the classic A Christmas Carol tale. But this version is centred around a hardened TV executive and ends up involving a lot of strange high-tech imagery. One of the ghosts is literally made of televisions. That's the ghost of Christmas Yet to Come. Another ghost is more of a Walking Dead-style zombie. That's his boss. He's playing the Marley role. Then an actual incorporeal spectre. The result is the most science fiction feeling riff on A Christmas Carol that's ever been done. I doubt that very much. Scrooged is also just one of the best Christmas movies ever made, belonging firmly entrenched on any serious list about the holiday. We're slotting it in here, oddly positioned among a bunch of more purely sci-fi Christmas movies. Yeah, I like Scrooge. It's okay, but I wouldn't call it sci-fi. I don't know why it's on this list. Get stuck in a chimney with gremlins. This is more horror than sci-fi. It's a creature feature, isn't it? I mean, they're not from outer space or anything, are they? Is it sci-fi? I suppose mildly. But anyway, Gremlins taught us many important life lessons. Chief among them is that when a wise old man at a mysterious hole-in-the-wall shop gives you a set of very specific instructions, it was his grandson that did it. For the feeding and care of that strange pet you just bought, you follow those directions to the letter. You don't get it wet, no matter how bad it smells. You don't feed it after midnight. And if it looks hungry and makes adorable "I'm hungry, please feed me," even though it's after midnight noises, none of that. No, you listen to that wise old man, because he's wise and he's old and he knows what the hell he's talking about. Plus, it wasn't him; it was the kid. It was his grandson that told Ran Peltzer into... I love Gremlins, it's a great film. By the way, that also describes me. You don't get me wet no matter how much I smell. And just don't feed me after midnight. Because something bad will happen probably. Anyway, now I know you're a snot-nosed teen and you think you have it all figured out. It's not snot-nosed, it's some kind of, special needs adult. He is, Billy. But come on, there's a reason he's a wise old man and you're just a punk kid. Also be careful. Have they seen the film? Also be careful what you give as gifts this holiday season. Sure, it isn't like giving a hyperactive kid a drum set, but a house full of gremlins will most likely come back to bite you on the ass. So before you dress up like Santa and drop down your chimney to surprise your kids with presents, make sure you watch Gremlins and pay attention to the worst Christmas story ever. And that's Kate telling about how her dad died up the chimney in a Santa suit. Yeah, it's great, it's Gremlins. But yeah, Billy's some kind of special needs, eternal kid. His dad's like an incompetent inventor / engineer, and his mother's a psycho. Just watch how she takes out all them gremlins with relish. Right, celebrate the birth of a saviour with Children of Men. Excellent film, but I've only seen it a couple of times. Christmas is all about celebrating the birth of the child who ultimately became the saviour of all mankind. Alfonso Cuarón's, I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, 2006 film Children of Men is about a birth, one that many people want to stop, of a child who could very well be the key to the continued survival of the human race. Do you think it's a coincidence that the dystopian drama is set around the holiday? As much as I love his other work, like, E tu Mama Tambien, I don't know, and Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, the best Harry Potter film, but the one that made least at the box office. Mental. This sci-fi Christmas movie, set in the future, is easily my favourite of Cuarón's movies. Thematically dense and tonally damn near perfect. His breathtaking visual style, in my opinion, is even more impressive here than in Gravity. Children of Men is one of those rare movies that manages to be bleak and optimistic all at the same time. And isn't that what this time of year is all about? Dealing with crushing realities and trying to find a glimmer of hope anywhere you can. Yeah, I suppose it is, isn't it? But don't make me depressed about it. Here we go. Celebrate Christmas in space with Santa Claus Conquers the Martians. Do you know what? I've got this. I've got it on my computer. I think it's on YouTube or whatever. And I think I downloaded it onto my computer. But I don't know if I've actually sat and watched it. I can't remember. Anyway, this one sort of gives itself away, but we simply had to include it. With a name like Santa Claus Conquers the Martians, you know you're on the right track. In reality, this 1964 sci-fi holiday movie isn't very good. That much is probably obvious from the sheer number of worst movie ever lists it appears on. That said, what a concept. Sorry about that, big snotty sniffle there, wasn't there? Must be the cold. Because it's still freezing cold here. That said, what a concept. The film delivers exactly what the title promises. A jolly fat man in a red suit battling it out with aliens. Why, you may ask? For the kids, that's why. See, Santa doesn't just care about the young here on Earth. Oh no, he's universal. And when the children of Mars need saving from their strict, overbearing parents, who better than to help out than old Saint Nick? Maybe you should watch it with the riff tracks on. Cinematic Titanic and MST3K have also had their way with the film. Well, MST3K and riff tracks are pretty much the same thing, aren't they? So you have options. Do yourself a favour. If you do decide this is the sci-fi Christmas movie for you, watch one of these versions. I hate to be responsible for ruining your holiday cheer. I didn't know Mystery Science Theatre 3000 had done this. And I've got them all, so I'm going to have to dig that one out and watch that one and have a laugh. Right, have a creepy Christmas with Rare Exports, A Christmas Tale. This was mentioned in my other video I did about Scary Christmas Santas. It's a really good film. From Finland, not Norway. It's true that Jalmari Helander's 2010 Rare Exports A Christmas Tale is probably more horror than it is science fiction or fantasy, but it's so much twisted holiday fun that we had to include it on this list, and it does at least involve a scientist. He's the one who orders Santa's grave to be excavated, thus dooming a bunch of unsuspecting Finns to rather unpleasant fates. This may be a tenuous connection, but we'll take it and call this one of our Christmas, one of our sci-fi Christmas movies. People need to learn that no good will come from disturbing an old grave. None at all. The basis for the original Santa Claus myth, his particular incarnation, is more on the side of punishing the naughty children rather than rewarding those who behave. And in this day and age, there's way more naughty than nice. Rare Exports certainly isn't the first holiday slasher, but it's wildly original and more than a little insane, and that doesn't sound like one hell of a way... doesn't that sound like one hell of a way to celebrate Christmas? Next up, watch Christmas Heal a Hero in Iron Man 3, and there's Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark in Iron Man 3. Do you know what? I forgot that was actually set at Christmas. Iron Man 3 is the only Iron Man film not directed by Jon Favreau. Instead, they went to Shane Black, who had already proven his ability to capture the Christmas spirit in unusual places with the cult hit Robert Downey Jr. film noir Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, and by writing the low-key Christmas-themed Lethal Weapon. Yes, which is, if Die Hard's a Christmas film, Lethal Weapon's a Christmas film as well. The movie takes place almost entirely during the Christmas season. At one point, Iron Man even ends up entangled in Christmas lights. But it's more than just window dressing. Iron Man 3 finds Tony Stark struggling with post-traumatic stress and ends up being a movie about healing. The kind of thing which fits right in with any Christmas movie theme. That is, of course, in addition to plenty of scenes in which Iron Man kicks ass. Merry Christmas, let's get shawarma. Well, that's it. That's your lot. Right, we've done. But Iron Man 3, I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. It was just there. I didn't like the end of it. I didn't like all those, 40 of them or whatever, Iron Man suits all operating themselves. I thought, what's the point in having a man in them if they can do everything themselves? I didn't like that. But there you go. That's a nice list. Some of them aren't particularly sci-fi-y. There's probably some better sci-fi based Christmas movies out there. By the way, I watched the Twilight Zone episode. Remember when they redid the Twilight Zone in the 1980s? There's an episode, it's on YouTube, you can find it. Type in Twilight Zone The Star, and it's called The Star. It's only a short one, it's about 12 minutes, and it's about them finding out what the Star of Bethlehem was. It was a star going going nova, and basically destroying all the life in its system. And the people that lived there put like an outpost, one of the outer planets, with a message in saying, don't forget us, we were here, but our star died and we couldn't escape, so we've left this message. And then it's all about, that the star going nova was the Star of Bethlehem. So while a civilization died, the Christian civilization, if you could call it that, was born. So that's one. I think Christmas were mentioned in Star Trek, the original series, wasn't it? I think the Charlie X episode, which must have been set at Christmas. I didn't know they celebrated Christmas. But the chef or whatever, the man in the galley, comes over when Charlie X, makes Christmas turkeys appear. They're supposed to be using, reprocessed, food matter or whatever, trying to make it look like turkey. But the fella that comes over the comms line says there's real Christmas turkeys in the oven. So that's another Christmas sci-fi thing. I can't think of any more. So anyway, we'll leave it there. It's enough Christmas spirit and joy for one day, don't you think? Right, let's get rid of that. Anyway, do you like my Christmas theme background? It's a bit rubbish, isn't it? I just slapped it together. Just thought, well, what the heck? I could have done an animated one, but I thought, my computer's not good enough. Right, so we'll leave it there. So thank you for watching while I digress. Wherever you are, in this Christmas season, in the Christmassy universe beyond, look after each other. Until next time, I'll see thee.